All right, a very good afternoon to all of you. Today we have joined again for your SHITIJ cohort, which is going on. So today's speaker is Dr. Yogmaya Verma. Dr. Verma is an accomplished professional with a wealth of experience in startup incubation, technology transfer, and intellectual property management. With a strong commitment to fostering innovation and sustainable development, Dr. Verma has played pivotal roles in various leadership positions. At Indigram Labs Foundation, Dr. Verma managed the operations of Biorag Bionest and Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. She held role of technology transfer in charge, regulatory support services in charge, and played a key role in the management of the Stanford India Biodesign Program. Her multifaceted responsibilities included business development activities and grant writing, contributing to the overall growth and success of the organization. She holds a PhD in zoology and is a registered technology transfer professional, that is RTTP, a registered patent agent, and an IP facilitator with the Indian Patent Office. Her academic pursuits also include the completion of a postgraduate diploma in technology management in agriculture from NARM, Hyderabad. So we welcome you, ma'am, and it's an honor to have you amongst us. And today you will be talking about technology transfer and commercialization, right? So over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mani, for the detailed introduction. And a very good afternoon to all the participants. And also congratulations for being selected for this reputed program with IRI. So I'll just start. I'll share my screen. Do let me know if you're able to see it.
We can see it, ma'am. We can see it.
In slideshow mode, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So I think all the startups that we have are from agricultural background. And I don't know how many of you might have heard about technology transfer and whether any of you have benefited from the technologies from academia. Is there anyone who has transferred any technology or licensed any technology from research institute or academia?
No.
Okay, so that was also my perception, because I understand that technology transfer is, startups especially are not very much aware of this option, which is technology transfer, and wherein you have both in-licensing and out-licensing opportunities. So this would be a good opportunity to understand how it is relevant to startups. So what we'll do is we'll understand what is academic technology transfer, not only academic technology transfer, but we'll also understand what is out licensing and how it is important and relevant to these startups. What are the benefits, what are the options and opportunities for you all, and what is the basic and broad process and framework for you. And then maybe some things to remember while you are into it. So let's start with the basic and the literary definition of technology transfer. It's the process by which universities patent the discoveries which they develop in their laboratories, and then they license them to companies and entrepreneurs who would eventually develop them into important commercial products. So this is just the literary definition. Am I audible? There's some disturbance actually.
Yeah, ma'am, I did it.
Okay, so this is the literary definition. Otherwise, you understand that universities and research institutes, they are basically involved into research. They develop innovations which would have potential economic growth. And these innovations, universities do have these innovations, but then these research institutes and universities, they do not have the wherewithal to commercialize these technologies. So universities may be developing this cutting edge research, they have these established research facilities, and then which leads to creation of valuable intellectual property. Which could include patents, copyrights, and trademarks. But then this ends over here. And this cannot, universities will not be able to take this forward. and wherein comes the role of the agencies which can take up commercialization. So universities might have multiple options, like they can license this IP to established companies, they can license it to startups, or maybe there could be faculty or students who could license and form a startup around this intellectual property. But the best option here would be wherein the startup and the academia can bridge. Why? Because when there are when there are corporates, if you look at corporates and established companies, they have they have all the systems in place. They have established R&D, and they do their own market research, and based on which they develop their own products in their own R&D labs, and which they can then commercialize. So they are single entities which can do the entire process for themselves. However, when you are startups and maybe other SMEs also, so these do not have these R&D facilities, because developing and maintaining these facilities is very expensive. Just excuse me, I just have a deep sip of water. So then here lies the opportunity for startups. So startups can use these innovations, because startups don't have their own R&D labs. You can easily use these technologies that are developed by universities and take them up for commercialization. So you don't have to do your own R&D. But now, how do you go about and find these technologies which could be of interest to you? So there are multiple options. You can reach out to the IP and technology transfer units of the academia. So if you know, I mean, you are already incubated with this ZTM BPD unit. So there are 5 ZTM BPD units of ICR, and they maintain a database of all the catchment ICR institutes. So you can reach out to them. Here you definitely can reach out to Money. And then each ICR institute also has its own individual institute technology management unit. So you can reach out to them also. Again, sorry. Again, you have Agri Innovate, which is the commercialization arm of ICR. So Agri Innovate website, you can just see the screen. This is their website, and you can avail the entire database of ICR technologies, and you can identify technology of your relevance and pursue it. The second option could be independent technology transfer agencies. So you may or may not know about NRDC. NRDC is National Research Development Corporation. It's a government entity specially formulated to help in technology commercialization. So this being a commercialization agency, most of the academic and research institutes, they approach NRDC. So then they have an entire India database of technologies which you can avail. Same goes for BCIL, Biotech Consortium India Limited. So Biotech Consortium India Limited is also an entity created by Department of Biotechnology. Similarly, very recently, there are 7 TTOs that were established. These were established under the ambit of Department of Biotechnology, and these are being handled by BIRAC. So these are the 3 entities which you can approach and identify technologies. Apart from their database, so if you have, I mean, very particularly, if you have any technology in mind that this is what you are looking for, like if you are a cosmetic company and you're looking for a hair care solution, So you can just reach out to them and ask them if they have this kind of technology already available. If they have, I mean, it's fine. Otherwise, they can also, what they can do is they can scout the technologies for you. So which is, I mean, a common term, technology scouting. So they'll scout these technologies of your interest for you, because they have the entire clientele database also. So BCIL is working with the IITs, ICMR, ICR. Similarly, all the government organization, research institutions are also working with NRDC. And ETO especially, they have, I mean, the entire India has been divided into seven geographical locations for the TTOs to function and cater to the relevant area. Third option could be media post. So simply you can just post on LinkedIn that this is your requirement, and whoever has this technology will definitely reach out to you. And the fourth option is registered technology transfer professionals. So registered technology transfer professionals are recognized technology transfer professionals, and you can identify the list of RTTPs on this website, ATTP, Global Application Process. So this is Alliance for Technology Transfer Professionals. So you can reach out to these individual registered professionals, and they can also help you in technology transfer. Let's see, I mean, once you have identified the technology of your interest with any of these agencies or individuals, what is the broadest framework for technology transfer? So first of all, what you will do is have an NDA in place, which obviously takes care of the confidentiality of the information which is sensitive. Once you have the NDA, you can, the discussions can be facilitated. And I mean, based on the discussions, you can arrive at what are the common areas you would want to work on, and an MOU can be signed between the two. This can also facilitate further detailed discussions. And based on those detailed discussions, definitely you would be coming to a conclusion wherein you would want to materialize this into an agreement. So this would actually depend. In case the technology is already ready, so then this technology can be transferred to the startup easily in the form of a technology docket, and following all the procedures such as the license agreement in place. You sign the license agreement, and the financials can also be agreed upon, which would include the licensing fee, which would be a lump sum fee, and royalties. So all these can be agreed upon, and then the technology can be transferred. But just in case the technology is not ready and maybe needs to be validated or further developed, so in those cases, you may need to work in a collaborative manner, and which could be in the form of a collaborative research, or you could go for sponsored research, wherein you could sponsor the specific part of the research, the startup can sponsor, and the academia with its expertise and lab can develop it for you. I'll just take a break, 1 minute break. Sorry about my bad throat.
No, it's okay.
This is what the usual technology transfer pathway looks like for the academia or the research institutes. So the inventor comes up with an innovation. It's initially an idea which turns out into an invention and then into a proof of concept. This turns into an invention disclosure, and then it reaches the technology transfer office, wherein a strategy is built to protect the IP around it. And then the technology transfer office takes efforts to license this technology. Following licensing, obviously, it comes into the purview of the company who would be taking it up for commercialization. So here you see that initially it's the inventor, then it's the inventor and the technology transfer office that are working as a team. And later, at the final stage, it is the three who work in tandem to successfully commercialize this technology. So this is just to give you a glimpse of how this happens for the academia. So if you have any queries, please feel free to interact and ask. Ask anything you want to. So this captures the relevance and the benefits to the startup for in terms of technology transfer. You have access to cutting edge research from the universities. You can license their intellectual property at very nominal rates, which could be most of the times you could also get these technologies based on royalties. So it's a win-win situation, wherein if you are making profit, the academia also gets a share of the profit. If it doesn't work, nobody loses. So there are funding opportunities also which academia might pursue with you, or they may have their own internal funding which could be supported for taking this technology further. Thus, there are scientists who are experts in their field, and once you are licensing their technologies, they would be there with you as consultants and technical experts to support you through the pathway. So I'll just give you this example wherein Thushan or V Naturals, they license this technology. They are using the technology from CSIR. This is a technology wherein they are using wheat bran to make edible tableware. Another example, I won't name the company, but there is this startup which is into hair care solutions, and they were looking into developing or expanding their product portfolio. So now, I knew about a university that was already working, and they had developed this unique hair formulation which addresses three problems. So then the matchmaking happens, and the startup and the university, they can develop this product together. This technology was at a very early stage. It was only tested on animals in lab. So now the startup would definitely want that it should be tested on human beings. Only then it can reach the markets. So these things would be definitely worked out, and a possible collaboration might happen wherein they would finally make it ready for commercialization. These are just to let you know how this works. And this is one such example. This is a success story, basically. You might have heard about or used Gatorade. And this was developed by University of Florida and was licensed to Stokely Van Camp. This is a company. And they agreed to pay them $25,000 in addition to a small royalty, 5-cent royalty on every gallon sold. So if you look at the royalties which they earned from this technology was $1 billion in October in 2015. So this up till now we were talking about in licensing. So if you are wanting to build up your portfolio, expand your portfolio, and you are interested in adding new technologies to your portfolio, then you in-license technologies from the academia. But there is another option also wherein you can benefit by out-licensing your own technology. Herein you need to identify what is your IP. So for a startup, it is a strategy wherein you license your own IP or a proprietary technology to external parties or maybe larger companies. And what is the benefit? I mean, it would be additional revenue generation apart from what you are already earning from your IP. Plus, there would be market expansion. Say, for example, you are in India, you are based in state of maybe Gujarat, and you are working in the small corner of the country, but you know that this technology might also might have a potential market in maybe Bangladesh or Africa. But you may not have the wherewithal to pursue this technology in those domains. So what you do is you can identify a licensee, maybe in Northeast and in Africa, and you license out your IP to them. So now these companies would pursue this technology and commercialize this technology in those areas. This can also be limited geographically so that they don't interfere with your growth and market. So if you are licensing these technology to a company in Northeast, you are working in Gujarat, you're licensing it to a company in Northeast, and you then mark the territory that you will be marketing this technology only in the 7 states of the Northeast. So that way you are not competing, but it would be an expansion for you. Same you can do with Africa, maybe some African countries. So this is how you expand your market. Apart from this, when you are licensing, you're out licensing your technology. And if you manage to license it to an established company, then this also validates your technology because a established company is using your technology. There's risk mitigation because the risk is spread now, and the larger companies could have better distribution networks. They have the resources to pursue commercialization better than a startup. So the risk then spreads for you. Also, when you are partnering them for licensing, you also have access to their expertise. Plus, you are able to focus on your core competencies rather than pursuing every other jurisdiction or every other area of your technology commercialization. So what are the steps and considerations for out licensing? First, you would identify valuable IP which you could license, then undertake some market research and negotiate, identify who could be the potential licensees, negotiate the licensing terms, and have in place a legal agreement with the help of legal experts. And then you just need to, once you have the license agreement in place, you just have to monitor the agreement and the terms are being complied with, and you are receiving the royalties within the time frame agreed upon. So this is also again a success story example, a very common one, how you can earn huge revenues from like out licensing your technology. So you might know about these ring pull cans, which were developed by one of the innovators and was licensed to Coca-Cola. And this is really amazing that the financials that were agreed upon was 1/10 of a penny per can sold by Coca-Cola. And you can imagine that during the validity of the patent, the inventor himself obtained 1,48,000 UK pounds a day, single day on royalties. That was the amount, that was the kind of revenue that they earned. So that is the potential of licensing these technologies. So of course, technology transfer, something that you are without you having to own your R&D lab and having to undertake research, you are getting these technologies, then definitely this path is fraught with challenges as well. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. These challenges may be in navigating the bureaucratic procedures, which are part and parcel of the universities and the research institutes, aligning research and commercial needs, because innovators usually pursue their passion and industry works on commercialization, market needs, customer needs, and then managing the expectations of the each party, because innovator may just complete the project and then they may expect that the uh, company or the startup should take up the entire remaining part of commercialization, including validation, while the industry may not want it, or startup may want a ready technology. So such kind of expectations need to be managed. And what are the solutions? Effective communication is the best part. I mean, it's no big deal to manage these challenges. You need to have clear IP agreements and collaborative problem solving, sitting, discussing, and how a common path can be achieved. So some things to remember is that whenever you are pursuing these technologies from the academia or the research institute, you have to remember that these would be lab scale technologies, and you need to understand that these may need to be developed, and it's a time consuming thing. And I mean, definitely you'll have to uh, work collaboratively with them. The academia may not have the regulatory understanding. This path may be cost, costly and time intensive, but then definitely it is worth it. Industries may also, universities also most of the time would want to license it on a non-exclusive basis. However, you would want it to be exclusively licensed. These things, all these challenges or things can be definitely worked out by discussing. Also, you need to remember that patent life is limited. You know that it is 20 years. So while licensing a technology, you need to know how much of the patent life is left of which you can take benefit. So this was all about technology transfer. You can also, this is a self-help book by Vipo. You can access it online. It's a free book. And this can also help you navigate the process of technology transfer. So I'll stop here. And if you have any queries, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, Abhinav, go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thanks a lot for the insightful session. And it was an eye-opening for new entrepreneurs like us. And so my question is, I have two questions. Number one, how do the technology, like the institutions, decide to which startup they should, do the technology transfer? Because the same example of Getorit, they came up with a breakthrough idea or breakthrough research, and then everybody, being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, everybody would want the technology. So how do the institutions decide, like, which is the startup that should be given the preference, or on those lines? So that's my first question.
Okay. So there's no, I'll say there's no single way that they decide. they definitely want, I mean, from speaking from the university academia perspective, I can tell you that they would want to go with any startup or company who would have the experience and the resources to mobilize the technology as fast as they can. So that is the strength they would definitely look for, and that's why they mostly prefer established companies. But nowadays, I mean, the government institutions and research academia, they are open to licensing to startups as well. And plus, there's also this non-exclusive part. So it's not that they would license it to only one company. So they could license to multiple companies. So startups also have an opportunity to license these technologies.
Perfect, Pam. And the second question is continued on the same line. For example, we as a startup, we were in a session with Dr. Alka, and she explained that these are the technologies that they already have that we would need in the future. So during the Kshitij program, so how can we reach out to them? It will be in the upcoming sessions, or if you could give us some insights about it, how this session would help us going
So
through.
I'll request Mani. I think Mani would be the right person to answer this.
Yeah, Abhinav. So I mean, all together from all of the startups, we will seek कि किनको technology transfer में help चाहिए, and maybe who else is interested in connecting with Dr. Alka. तो हम आपका एक छोटा सा focus group बना के we will get it done. So don't worry. हाँ, वो हो जाएगा. ठीक है.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please. Let's go with Harshit first,
Yeah,
and then
okay,
ask.
no problem. Thanks, Mani. Hello, ma'am. I'm Harshit from Climagrow. I mean, my question, ma'am, is on the timing part. Like when we have to decide that okay, we have to go for this IP thing, because as you mentioned that like most of the startup mostly busy in developing the product. We don't have that very clear vision, clear idea that when we have to protect our basically the IP, etc. So, what you suggest? What's your thought on that?
As early as possible. File a provisional.
Okay.
And then once you have data in place, then you can go ahead. I mean, you'll have 1 year to decide whether this is right or not. So after that 1 year period, you will be able to file the complete application alongside the entire data that you have generated, and you'll be having more specifics by that time. So securing the priority date would be your first thing. So as early as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Ashit also wanted to ask. Ashit ji.
Yes.
जी.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and SHITIJ forward. मेरा
good
नेम
जी बताइए.
सैटेलाइट बेस्ड प्रिसीजन फार्मिंग का है, तो उसमें मुझे कौन सी चीज को आईपी में लेके जाना चाहिए? डेटा एनालिटिक्स है या फिर टेक्नोलॉजी है या फिर जो मतलब यूजर फ्रेंडली फार्मर्स के लिए जो मोबाइल ऐप बनाई है, कौन सी मतलब मैंने ट्रेडमार्क का प्रोसीजर हो गया है, अभी आया नहीं है, तो अभी आईपी में किस चीज को लेके जाना चाहिए, मुझे थोड़ा ये बताइए.
जी, तो ये जो आपका टेक्नोलॉजी आपने डेवलप किया है एआई बेस्ड, इसको आपको असेस करना पड़ेगा. उसके लिए ना क्या ले जाना है, उसके लिए सबसे पहले आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि क्या प्रायर आर्ट है. तो उसके लिए एक प्रायर आर्ट सर्च कंडक्ट करना होता है, वो आप खुद से कर सकते हैं या आप अटॉर्नीज के साथ कैन गेट इन टच और वो आपके लिए कर सकते हैं. तो उसमें जब आप प्रायर आर्ट सर्च करोगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि इसमें से बहुत सारी चीजें ऑलरेडी इन द लिटरेचर है, हो चुकी हैं. फिर आपको उसमें से आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि आपका यूनिक पॉइंट क्या है, जो आपने टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांस क्या अचीव किया है, उसको लेकर आपको पेटेंट फाइल करना होगा. तो वो फीचर्स
ओके.
आपको आइडेंटिफाई करने होंगे, हाँ, बेस्ड ऑन प्रायर आर्ट.
ओके ना, उसके बाद मतलब नेक्स्ट प्रोसीजर क्या रहेगी उसमें?
उसके बाद आप जो भी नए फीचर्स है उसके बेसिस पे आप पेटेंट फाइल करते हैं. पेटेंट फाइल में आपके जो यूनिक फीचर्स है वो पेटेंट के क्लेम्स में कैप्चर हो जाते हैं. जो क्लेम्स होते हैं वो आपकी टेक्नो लीगल बाउंड्री होती है. तो वही वो टेक्नो लीगल, जैसे एक आप प्लॉट खरीदते हैं तो प्लॉट में आपकी एक बाउंड्री बनाते हैं जो आपको पता
हाँ
होता है कि ये आपका लैंड है, वो बाउंड्री बताती है। उसी तरह से क्लेम्स भी एक टेक्नो लीगल वर्ड से बाउंड्री बनाते हैं जो ये बताती है कि ये वाला जो फीचर है इतना आपका है।
तो दूसरा मुझे आपको ये पूछना था कि अभी मेरी प्रोडक्ट एमवीपी स्टेज पे है, तो मेरा एक दोस्त है उसने पेटेंट फाइल किया है, तो उसका कोई एजेंट है यहाँ पहचान वाला, तो मुझे अभी कर लेना चाहिए या मार्केट में चले जाए एक बार पूरा, तो मतलब प्रोडक्ट रेडी टू यूज हो जाए
सॉरी, आपको
उसके
एक बार
बाद करना
रिपीट
चाहिए?
करना पड़ेगा, मुझे मिस हो गया।
ओके। मेरी प्रोडक्ट अभी एमवीपी स्टेज पे है, ठीक है।
एमवीपी
और
स्टेज पे।
हाँ, और मेरा एक दोस्त है उसका एक जान पहचान वाला है जो ये पेटेंट फाइल करता है, बाहर का एजेंट है। तो मुझे अभी कर लेना चाहिए या प्रोडक्ट रेडी टू यूज हो जाए तभी करना चाहिए?
नहीं, आप जितना जल्दी हो सके, आपका प्रोडक्ट कवर हो चुका है, क्योंकि एक बार आपने मार्केट में दिखा दिया या बाहर चला गया आपका, तो आपका ही जो पब्लिकेशन है या यूज है, अगर आपने कहीं यूज कर दिया पब्लिकली, तो फिर वो आपका ही यूज या आपका ही साइटेशन जो है आपके अगेंस्ट नॉवेल्टी में आ जाएगा। जब नॉवल प्रायर आर्ट सर्च होगी तो आपके ही अगेंस्ट वर्क करेगा। तो इसलिए जितनी जल्दी हो सके आप प्रोविजनल तो फाइल कर ही दीजिए। अगर आपके डेटा रेडी है, आपका सब कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन रेडी है, तो आप कंप्लीट फाइल कर सकते हैं, लेकिन मार्केट में जाने का आप वेट
थैंक्स अ
मत
लॉट।
करिए।
थैंक यू मैम।
ठीक है आशित। सलोनी।
Good afternoon, ma'am. So we are into making innovative nutrition products for livestock animals, and some concerns that we have ourselves figured out is that in India we cannot have utility patents. So can you suggest us some alternative? Because it's if let's say if the process they don't find the process innovative or um, novel, then they might not grant us a process patent. And product patent, again, they might not say it's novel because cattle feed is a very old topic, or nutraceuticals per se as a category is very innovative. So how can we, what zone can we consider ourselves to be, or how can we think about going in a direction where we fit into one of the categories? Because the innovation is proven, the results are proven, but as per the US norms, we fit into the utility patent category.
Okay. So you are not able to qualify the patentability and the inventive step of India.
No, we have applied for a provisional now, but
Okay.
some lawyers, we took some guidance and they suggest that it cannot go as a process because our idea was to keep it as a trade secret, just like Coca-Cola did, that you'd never reveal what's going inside and you keep it as it is. So because the composition is the king. And if in case of patent, if we start revealing everything, then it's a usage of a known material in a different manner altogether. So now it's very tricky and we are not able to understand how should we go ahead about this.
So I think you will have to definitely, I mean, you have already discussed it with a patent lawyer.
Hmm.
So they will have to go by their advice because
ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಒಂದು ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಕಣ, ಆ
Yes,
ಕಪ್ನ
ma'am.
ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ನು ಬಂದ
I have to mute him. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, if they are saying utility, because obviously we don't have the provisions for utility
right.
patent, but they could strategize. I mean, it's upon the lawyer how to strategize that part and cover your innovation. Maybe they could cover your composition by covering it within ranges, percentage ranges, or how the composition is covered. So that is strategic writing of claims that they can do.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
But definitely you have only this option. So there's no other.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Any more
Hello?
questions? Hanji,
Yeah.
yeah. Raja Ramanna ji, please. Bataiye.
My question is, no, I have a product and technology is done. So how to do the validation and evaluation?
Validation, what category is the technology?
Oh, okay. Basically, this is a very, the one which I'm applied and working on here is a machinery equipment. Okay, this is a pesticide
Farm
spray
machinery.
machinery.
What machine?
Pesticide spray machinery.
Okay. So you
Okay.
need to validate this.
See, basically in a product, okay, basically the design or the technology is no IP. Anybody can change the design and then he can apply for an IP again. So my concern is always like this, because we were doing some technology related with electronics. Anybody can change the design and he can that IP whatever I have is becomes zero. Okay, that is the way I'm asking this question. It's very very tricky look like, but some people don't know this. That's the reason I'm asking you once again this.
So you are you are talking about reverse engineering, but how your question is around how to validate this technology, right?
Yes, yes. I'll give you the reality of inside also.
Best place actually when you are incubating with ICR has all the systems, because one of our startups, they also wanted to validate their technology, which was actually bioformulation, and we connected them with an ICR institute only, and they were helping them. So I think you can reach out to Mani and she would definitely help you in validating. ICR is the best place to get it validated.
Okay. And
Right.
I have a okay, very good. I have a very different question, not related with this my startup. I'll give you, this is basically what you call is a distillation product. Distilled. Okay, like tulsi distilled water or rose distilled water, whatever. Okay. And this is a product which we do. Okay, basically. And I wanted to know how to get it this kind of a technology validated.
The distillation part, you want to get back the product you want to get validated, the distilled product.
Yes,
or
yes,
the process.
the product I want. Okay, I'll give you further information. Okay, imagine you have Shankapushpi. If you know the Shankapushpi, okay, then if you know the Brahmi, okay, these are very different products, and it's generally used for some reason for increasing in the memory aspect.
Right.
Okay, so imagine I have developed a product. Okay, now how to get this product as a validator? Where should I get validated? And I know I need to have this technology for this.
Okay. Okay. So validation, I think again, you would definitely have to approach one of the ICR institutes, because ICR, there are more than 100 institutes, and each of these institutes have their domain specific expertise. But I can definitely, if you have this very specific, I can get back to you. I can check.
Ma'am, I can even add to that. So it's like, sir, for the machinery validation, if it's about the machinery, so there are like FMTTI 4 centers है पूरे all over India में, and our FMTTI is based in Hisar itself. तो अगर if you are based in north तो उधर जा सकते हैं. Otherwise I can recommend you to the Hyderabad वाला हमारा center है उधर. I mean that can be done. Another thing, if you are interested about getting the product validated, like अगर ये it's a distilled water. So I remember कि ICR का water institute, माने ICR Institute of Water Management is in Bhubaneswar, which is in Odisha. So we can connect you there if they have the facility. Otherwise we can also explore कर सकते हैं कि माने private players कितना है market में जो distilled water का करता है. ICR का तो I remember कि ये है. Otherwise we can work on it. So it's like it will be a part of the one-to-one mentoring. जब next month हम लोग आपके साथ करेंगे ना connect, तो we will understand this and we will get you a mentor for that as well.
Thank you.
That can be done.
Thank you.
वो चलेगा.
Technical mentor would be really good.
Yeah.
You get me the your number, so we can get in touch with you.
My number?
No, the madam number.
Madam number, okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'll share her email ID in the group.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? And we'll also have a particular IP session, because we have an IP cell from Pusa Krishi itself. तो वो भी हम करेंगे, so that you can also understand कि कितना कितना कैसा कैसा आप patenting अगर आपको करना है तो how can Pusa Krishi help you out? ठीक है. And अच्छा, any more questions from any startup? I think we are good to go. Right. All right. Yeah, I think Dr. Mayur wants to ask something.
No, ma'am. Thanks.
Okay, you just turned on the camera, so I thought like you want to ask something.
No.
All right. Okay. So here we come to the end of the session, and I want to thank you, ma'am, for extending your time. And despite of you're going through this throat infection and fever as well, I guess, because it's going on, and I mean it's been really our privilege to have you. I mean, despite of everything that you've been going through, so you came and you joined, and you really, I mean, it was an insightful session, because some of the startups, they are really interested in because I had a word with a few of them over the phone call, because some of the technologies that IRI have, or like you also mentioned, some ICR institutes might be having, which they might be interested in. So now if they were not interested, now they will be interested, because now they know how to approach and how to get these things done. And the people who are already interested, I would like to tell you all that you can always come to IRI or reach out to us through email or call. You have our numbers, you have our email IDs. So कोई भी technology commercialization पे आपको जाना है, तो just reach out to us, right? So thank you again, ma'am, for the session, and it's been our pleasure to have you for today's session as a speaker, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. All right, for the startups, so we will join tomorrow at the same time, and I'll just also like to remind you all that अभी कुछ लोगों का document uploading